Hey guys, Crypto here with another video, and guys, you don't understand the level of how bad it's gotten with Disney, with the OT characters. I can't even believe this. I'm actually shocked. I did a video the other day, right? Talking about Kylo Ren, right? And it's this comic book that fills in the gaps, or there's another bunch of books that fill in his childhood and all this stuff. And I was talking about some stuff that was pretty stupid, but I'm actually beyond words ticked. I can't even believe this. So they made this really dumb mistake. And I don't know why they would do this. I don't know what benefit they thought they were getting from doing this. I don't know if they thought, oh, it's relatable because all the kids with divorced parents out there, yay, let's talk about that. Because why would you want your characters to be better and different than real life crappy stuff that happens? Why would you want that? They made Han and Leia estranged and weird and awkward in the sequels. And now they're trying to explain the reason why. And I don't know if they just completely misread their relationship or what happened. Because, I don't know. Listen, my parents are like polar opposites in terms of human beings, okay? And they've always had arguments. Rarely were they ever, super intense or crazy. They actually kind of, in a lot of ways, reminded me of Han and Leia's arguments, which were passionate, but ultimately they're just kind of silly arguments, right? They're just kind of you're watching it. And even now, when we get together as a family, my siblings and I, we listen to them bicker over something completely stupid, and we just laugh. They're still very much in love. It's just a funny relationship dynamic. So for me, I never saw Han and Leia as being because they're arguing means they're going to have problems in the future. I mean, the real problem, I hate to get counselor-ish here, or psychological whatever, but actually arguing is, at least you're still arguing, right? Once that ends, then it's over, when you're just not communicating. So I never saw Han and Leia as oh, well, they're arguing in The Empire Strikes Back, and if they end up together, they're going to have all these problems. I never thought of it that way. I thought it was just passion, and they're kind of opposites, but opposites attract, right? And I guess the writers at Disney thought of it very, very differently. And after they made them estranged, which again was so stupid, wouldn't it have been nice to have Han and Leia together in the sequels and being still their usual arguing selves, but not separated? Wouldn't that have been nice to see? Instead of, oh, yay, they're separated. Awesome. I don't know what they were thinking. JJ, please respond. What were you thinking? Why would this be appealing to anybody? These are two of the most beloved characters in film history. And you don't have them together, married and arguing and funny and all that. Man, there was the potential for the scenes, and then you have them together go and find Luke, and you have a scene with them together. Anyways, so because they did that, now Disney's been spending all this time trying to explain that. Why are they like that? Why is this like this? And when I was doing the Kylo Ren videos the last week or two, one of the things was that Leia and Han weren't spending enough time at home. That was one of the ways they explained why he went dark, was because it started off with them just putting too much focus on their jobs. And they weren't home enough, even though there was Chewie there was Lando there, whatever. They contradict themselves, they're stupid. But so that was one of the things that sort of made him think that he wasn't getting loved enough or whatever. And now I realize that they're actually putting all of the blame on Han. And it's not even just that. Okay, Leia sucks too. Don't get me wrong, but of course they had to make Han the man worse, and it's absolutely horrible. And there's a few other panels I found as well. I was kind of scouring the internet trying to validate the panels, right? Because with AI and stuff, it's I had to make sure these were real, but these are real. He's emasculated constantly. He's a deadbeat loser. And then what Leia thinks of him is so awful. It was one thing to do what they did in the sequels, but now in their effort to explain the sequels, they have now, in my opinion, like, crossed every possible line. Like, that was horrible. We all hated it. This is so beyond that, though. Like, imagine how much you hated Han and Leia in the sequels. Not hugging Chewie, just all this weird stuff. Them being really awkward around each other instead of passionate and funny and back and forth. They were just awkward. Imagine how bad that was, right? We all watched that and we went, what were they thinking? They had this golden goose of these two characters in their relationship. It was so funny and awesome, and they wrecked it. Okay, they have now taken it to the extreme of awful. This is honestly like, you almost want to cry. It's so bad. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like, that's how bad this is. So first of all, I'll show you some of these panels where Han is emasculated, and then we'll get into the final, just absolutely god-awful writing of these two characters. Again, when it was on a platter for you. Dummies. So first I just want to start with this one, because I did feature this one in one of my previous videos where Han and Leia are like taking Ben for a spin on the Falcon, and Han lets him pull the lever to send it to hyperdrive. And Gracious saying the number of times I've had to defend that Han and Leia weren't bad parents, and how time is proving me right again and again with pages like this. Unfortunately, Gracia, that's very short-lived, as we will see. And I also would like to mention, too, that that's funny she says that, because there's that Jimmy Kimmel interview, right, where he basically says, to Adam Driver, he says, for your character to end up the way that you ended up.
For Kylo Ren to be such a bad guy, it means really that Han Solo and Princess Leia had to have been terrible parents. I mean, like, so I feel like that's a hole that hasn't been explained.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is Han and Leia. Obviously, they're having an argument. You have some nerve, sweetheart, making plans for my ship without me flying it. We can't talk about this here. Oh, we're going to talk about this right here, right now. I didn't fly all the way back to this stinking slag just for you to ignore me as usual. I just, like, this is where you guys went with it? This is how you interpreted their relationship, that was the deal, that they were just going to keep fighting and stuff? Like, and I don't mean arguing, like I said, my parents and stuff, like funny arguments, yes, but this is like, anyways, whatever, that's pretty mild and timid compared to where we're going here, but anyways. Okay, and then this is another one, like, so he gets smacked in the face by this chick who's claiming to be his wife and, like, causing problems. So, like, she whacks him one, and then she says, what a surprise, you taste like Corellian wine. She's a bit scrawny for your tastes, isn't she? She's talking about Leia. A wife? He never said he had a wife. And then he's like, but she's not my wife. You know what? This is none of my business. I'm just going to go, and you can too. And then he's like, that's my wife. Leia, wait. Leia, as in Princess Leia Organa? I thought I recognized you. Dude. So, all of those things that were happening between the two of them in the movies, and this is your interpretation as a writer, is that Leia would just walk away and be like, whatever, I don't care. It's none of my business. What? Like, their whole relationship was predicated on them fighting for each other, but denying they were fighting for each other, even though they both knew that they were. But I mean, really? Like he's saying he's not married to this woman's a nut job, and you're just gonna believe her and walk away? Where's that passion and vigor? Like, where'd that go? So that's another piece of crap panel. And again, he's getting slapped in the face, and this is not the first time. And so this guy on Reddit was like, I don't know if this is real or not, since this is from Twitter, but if it is, I'm angry. It's real, bro. It's real, yes. Leia decks him. Oh, it's just cringe McCringyton. And here's the panel. You're so impulsive, Han. Sorry about the quality, I know it's not the best, but you're so impulsive, Han, that's almost as bad. You're no Imperial sympathizer. You barely sympathize with us. Thanks, I think. What? Like, who says that? What are you talking about? He loved Leia. Like, in the OT, he was all over her, man. They had funny arguments, but he would have laid down his life for her, 100%. I don't know how you missed that watching those movies. You know, I just leave. That's going to raise... If I just leave, it's going to raise suspicions. You leave all the time and no one cares. Like, what? I would think she'd say the opposite. Why are you leaving all the time? We're here. Like, what are you doing? Right? Like, it's just... How these people read their relationship is so awful. This time's different. I'm on a mission. So you want people to think you have a good reason to go. He says, that's right. And then she slugs him in the face. She literally... Like, dude, domestic violence. Yay. Star Wars, domestic violence. It's awesome. Oh, it's so cringe and horrible. I can't believe these people, man. I can't believe that they would do this. Like, this is so bad, but it gets even stinking worse. So remember when I was talking to you guys about, like, Han and Leia worked too much and they weren't around their son, and that was part of the reason he felt neglected. Even though, again, Chewie and Lando and all these people were there. He called them Uncle Chewie and Uncle Lando and all that stuff. I did that video, whatever. None of it makes sense. So this is the penultimate squatting over Han, pooping all over him, and smearing it all over the place. That's what this is. This is sick, in my opinion. like in your brain... To think that this is what you would do with these two characters after the massive advantage you had with them, and they were so beloved, and you just destroy them for no reason. So Leia's brutal in this, right? She's slapping him. She's arguing in the opposite way you would think. Look at this panel. This is from the Force Awakens adaptation, and as far as I know, it's from issue 5. That could be wrong, but it's from the Force Awakens adaptation. So this is them trying to explain why Han and Leia are horrible and estranged and crappy characters in the sequels. So she's sitting here with Chewie. And then Chewie's like, blah, 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 blah. And she says, yes, Han is who he is. So she's sitting here. So Han's best friend and his wife are sitting here basically talking crap about the guy. That's pretty much what this is. And I don't know about you guys, but like, I don't talk crap about my wife to my buddies. I know a lot of people do that. I played a lot of hockey and I sat in dressing rooms, and I always felt kind of left out because I just don't do that. I don't do that. If I have an issue, if we have an issue in our marriage, we deal with it ourselves. I don't go off spewing, my baggage or dumping my garbage all over somebody else's lawn, right? Anyways, so then she says, a thing that changes and somehow remains the same. So in other words, Han's just this mean guy. Just wait, you'll see the context in a second. This mean guy, and it remains the same. Oh, anyway, Chewie goes, and then she goes, of course I care about him. Okay, so she cares about him. They're making it very clear that Leia is the good one. She cares about him. Listen to this. This is disgusting. And it was all because they couldn't think of any way to make Ben turn to the dark side unless they involved their parents, which you didn't even need to do. That could have happened without them being involved in it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if he's off with Luke, I remember, when I rewrote the sequels, I was like, Ben gets abducted when he's a kid and they indoctrinate him. Oh, okay. So then you don't have to take a poop on Han and Leia. But anyways, listen, like Leia, they ruined her too. This is horrible. Listen to what she says. Of course I care about him. That's not enough. That's not enough to maintain what our relationship was. So her caring about him is not enough to maintain what the relationship was. But it can be a bridge to what it can be. So, and she's the good one here. And then the final, this is just disgusting. Ben needs Han. I'd never get in the way of that. Then again, I'm not even sure Han's interested in us. So that's the thing? He leaves them? And he's like not interested and deadbeat? But she's interested? So her big thing is she works too much. Han's is, not only does he work too much, he doesn't care and he's not interested in his family? That's what you got from him simping for Leia for years? Was that he was just gonna not care and leave? The guy fought for her when he thought that she was in love with Luke. And he still fought for her. Because he wanted her. Oh, I just don't care anymore. I got what I wanted. What in the actual name is going on, Disney? What are you doing? Why are you doing this to these characters? Why? Why are you going out of your way to destroy the thing that you purchased? These are, for $4 billion, these are two of the pinnacle characters. They're in like the top 4 of all Star Wars. Gotta be, right? A lot of people think Han and Leia are 1, 2, or vice versa. A lot of people put Leia as not, like, what are you doing? Oh my gosh. So Han is a literal deadbeat pile of plop. He's even worse than I thought. They were so awkward and weird in The Force Awakens. They were so awkward and weird, and I was like, why did they choose to make them like this? Why would you do that? And then now I'm finding out that that's part of their reason for Ben turning dark. And then now I'm finding out that the main reason for that aspect of Ben turning dark was Han being like full-blown deadbeat and his wife talking about it with his best friend because she can't get through to him or something. What in the actual F is this, dude? This is horrible. This is worse than the sequels. Like, what they're doing to try and explain how bad the sequels are is worse. It's worse. These comic books should be burned. I'm not a big book burning guy, but these need to be burned and sent into the ash heap and be gone into oblivion. Can you imagine one panel, one page, and they just murdered him? Arguably the most beloved character in all of Star Wars, some people would say. Definitely in the top 5. What is going on? He's getting slapped by these women, and he's getting told off, and he's a loser. And then he's a total bum who doesn't even have interest in his family. Or at the very least, they're not seeing him being interested in them. What the actual heck is going on? Guys, this is disgusting. Let me know in the comment section what you think. If you like this content, please like, subscribe. It always helps the channel. Feel free to check out the rest of my channel. Have yourselves a really good day.